How's it going, everyone? It is me, Stateside Footy, here with a new video. We are going to be taking a look at every Premier League club's remaining games and which one of these games is the biggest game that will define how their season finishes. Obviously, guys, if you enjoy any piece of the video, if you enjoy your team's conversation, what I say about your team, what you don't like about what I say to your team, maybe you disagree completely, maybe you think there's a bigger team out there, please comment down below who you think's the bigger game. Obviously, this is all based on Premier League games only, and if you agree, leave a like. If you disagree, still leave a like. It helps me out a ton. And it helps me out with these videos and everything of that sort. Definitely, gives me a little extra push when I see that like button get punched a ton by you guys. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Arsenal. Arsenal, obviously, first in the league right now, and their biggest game is going to be Wednesday. If this video comes out Tuesday, it'll be tomorrow. If it comes out Monday, it'll be Monday, but obviously Manchester City, or it'll be Wednesday, but they'll be playing Manchester City on Wednesday for the title. I mean, let's face it, this game decides the title. I mean, both teams have games they could lose later in the season. I don't think Brighton away or Brentford away is easy for City, especially coming off of, I think they'll be on the road. They'll host Chelsea, and then within the week, they'll go to Brighton, they'll come back to Manchester, and then they'll go to Brentford, London to finish the season. I could see them dropping points in between their Real Madrid matchups against Everton. At Everton, I feel like it could be a slip-up game for them as well. Obviously they're playing very well, but, those games look like bogey games here at the final stretch of the season when everyone is desperate to get points. But we're talking about Arsenal right now. I think that's their biggest game. Obviously, they host Chelsea. They go to St. James Park, which could be a tough matchup again. Obviously, we just watched Newcastle today, I believe it was, score 6 at home against Tottenham. Obviously, I think Arsenal have a much better defense than Tottenham, and a much better manager, second of all, but could be a tough matchup. Never know what could happen at St. James's Park. But obviously, I'm going with Manchester City versus Arsenal as the biggest game, probably the biggest game of the season, game of the year candidate, in my opinion. I mean, this game is crucial to who picks the title up here in May. Moving along to our second team, we're going to go in alphabetical order. We're going to pick Aston Villa, who are currently in 6th position, and their biggest matchup, they play Tottenham here in the next few weeks. Going to decide the Europa League spot. Let's face it, whichever team wins this game, going to be probably get the Europa League spot. I don't see either of these teams challenging Newcastle or Manchester United for that Champions League spot, but I do think that it will be crucial to see who gets Europa League guaranteed, because obviously you have teams behind them. You have Liverpool in 7th. You have Brighton in 8th. Brentford in 10th. You have in 9th place, I'm trying to think, Fulham in 9th, so on and so forth. But I do think whichever team wins between Aston Villa and Tottenham will be guaranteed a Europa League spot minimum come the end of the season. Taking a look now at Bournemouth, we're moving down to the bottom of the table, bottom of the league, 15th place currently. Their biggest game is going to be Southampton. You have to keep Southampton away from you, as far away from you as you can. It's a relegation 6-pointer, let's face it. I mean, this is a massive game for both teams. Obviously, we're going to get to Southampton later, and we're going to pick their biggest game as well. But, I mean, this game, if Bournemouth beat Southampton, they are safe. I'm going to say that right now. They can lose every other game. They beat Southampton. I think that puts them at 36 points. They are safe. They are 100% safe. I think they're safe right now, based on just what I think they'll get it heading into this final stretch of the season. I don't think they have easy fixtures, but I do think that this game is going to be crucial for them. Moving along to Brentford, who are currently in 10th place. I'm going to say Chelsea. Obviously they play some better teams. Obviously they play Man City at home at the end of the season. I think Brentford's biggest game is going to be Chelsea, because that keeps Chelsea behind them. And I think you want to finish top half Brentford at minimum. I think top half at least shows the progress that you need to possibly keep an Ivan Toney, to bring in even more talented players. You're already bringing in high quality players that nobody's heard of initially, but I mean, it just works for you guys. And so keep that kind of system going for Brentford. But top half obviously gives you a little bit of push. Like, hey, look how close, you can pitch a project now a lot easier than you could coming into the Premier League. Avoiding second season syndrome and just getting above Chelsea would be massive for them. Up next, we got Brighton. And Brighton, again, Aston Villa's on the list again. Brighton plays Aston Villa. And this will decide European football, I think, if Brighton win this. If Brighton win this, they will get into Europe. I think it'll be a Conference League spot, but I'm not sure. I definitely think they have a chance to make the Europa League as well. But I'm going to say if they win this game against Aston Villa, they're pretty much guaranteed to get a Europa Conference League spot here come the end of the season. Chelsea, currently in 11th place. You're not playing for much right now. The most important game to you, the only game that should be on Chelsea's calendar for the rest of the season, is the game against Arsenal here in a few weeks. You can ruin Arsenal's title hopes with that win, and I hope you don't. I really hope you don't. If Chelsea beats us and costs us the title, I'm going to be devastated, to say the least, and that's just the best way I can put it. We've got Chelsea versus Arsenal as Chelsea's biggest matchup. They're obviously going to the Emirates, and I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think it's going to be chippy. I think it's going to be very intense, but I am hoping that Arsenal obviously can get the better of Chelsea. Crystal Palace, I'm going to say West Ham. You're currently in 12th. West Ham are currently in 13th. Both of you are surviving. Neither of you are challenging for Europe. So I just think you want to win your London derby, and you just want to stay above a London team. Neither team wants to be the lowest London team in the Premier League this season. I think everybody below both of those teams are currently outside of London. I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. But yeah, both teams just a London derby to decide which London team's the worst in the Premier League, obviously. Moving along to Fulham, currently in 9th, and again, Aston Villa makes this list again. Aston Villa have some very tough fixtures here come the end of the season. Obviously, I picked Tottenham as their biggest matchup, but these are going to be some tight games for Aston Villa. This game could decide, again, for Fulham, a Conference League spot similar to Brighton. I think Fulham win this game. They're back in it with a shout to compete for European football, and I think it'd be big for Fulham if they're able to. Obviously, another London club making it into European nights, to replace Chelsea, since they'll be missing that. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But moving along from Fulham, we're going to go over to Leeds. 16. They're currently in 16th place. They're fighting for survival. Their biggest game, they play 17th Leicester City. This is a relegation 6-pointer that Leeds have to win if they want to stay up. Obviously, on paper, Leicester City have a much, much better squad. But, both teams need this 6-pointer here for them. Moving along to Leicester, and their game is not against Leeds, but is one spot below them, and is going to be Everton, another 6-pointer, just coming here into the back end of the season. I think both teams will be fighting. I think this is going to be an interesting game. Both teams play completely different play styles. Both teams completely different squads, and it is going to be an extremely entertaining game, I believe. Or it's going to end 1-0 since I said something. It could end 0-0 because I said something. But I'm hoping it's an exciting game. I hope to see the emotion, the fight, the enthusiasm around this game. I can't remember who's the host team. I kind of hope it's Everton because I know the stadium will be bouncing. I know this game's going to be huge for both teams come the final stretch, but that's just kind of where I'm going for there. Moving along to Liverpool, who are currently in 7th, and that's another team that's going to be facing Aston Villa. That is going to be a biggest game for them. Obviously, if Liverpool wants to get European football, they have to beat Aston Villa, in my opinion. I think if they get 3 points from Villa, I think that is the difference maker to put them into the Europa League versus the Conference League. Not that I think Liverpool fans will care for either competition. I don't think they want to play on Thursday nights. Everybody knows that. However, Liverpool, you are not going to make it into to the Champions League, of course. But there's still an outside shot. You make it into Europa League. You're currently in 7th. You're one spot off. And if you make it into 6th place, you will be in the Europa League, which will be massive for you guys. And then moving along to Manchester City. Again, Arsenal versus Manchester City. Title decider at the Etihad. I mean, this is a massive game for both teams. And I think that it's just going to, like I said, it's the biggest game of the year. And that's not that's not even an exaggeration, in my opinion. Moving along to Manchester United, the other side of Manchester. They're currently in 4th, and Tottenham are in 5th. This game is crucial for the Champions League ties that for both teams are desiring right now. I mean, both teams need to win this game, need to get 3 points. It's, down the back stretch of the season. Whoever wins this game, I think, could wrap up Champions League. I think it's going to be Manchester United. That's my prediction, throwing out that prediction right now for that game. I think that's going to be a big game for both teams to decide who gets in the Champions League. And honestly, at this point, with Tottenham and the way they're playing, Tottenham may be out of the running by the time that game gets here. I don't remember which week, how many weeks away that game is. It could be Wednesday, and then I look like a fool. But I do think Manchester United, much better team, much better management, much better style, systems, everything. I think that they are just clear favorite to get that 4th place slot over Tottenham. Moved along to Newcastle, currently in 3rd place, who I think are going to be, we just watched them beat Tottenham 6-1. I think they are not messing around. They want Champions League. They want it more than the big clubs, than the teams that have historically been in the Champions League. Newcastle just want it more. The fans want it more. The players want it more. Eddie Howe wants it more than all of these other managers. And that is exactly why Newcastle are going to make it. But the game that is going to be crucial for them to win is on the final game of the season. They're on the road. They're going to be playing 11th place Chelsea, who have absolutely nothing to play for, not a care in the world. But that is the game they have to win here in the final stretch. They just beat Tottenham. They have to beat Chelsea, fully solidify themselves into the top 3 on the final day of the season. And I think Newcastle will be successful, but that will 100% be the biggest game for them this season. Moving along to Nottingham Forest, and I'm going to go ahead and do them in Southampton. They're back-to-back, and they're playing each other. There will be, I believe, 3 games following this matchup for both teams. Whichever team wins this, it's an opportunity to turn their season around and hopefully go on a run and get out of the mess that they're currently in. I don't see either team surviving relegation. However, it's a 6-pointer that could be the difference maker for both teams coming out of the relegation zone here on the final few days of the season. Moving along to Tottenham, and they share the same matchup with Manchester United that will decide which team gets UCL, which team gets Europa League here down the final stretch. Again, I think it's going to be Manchester United, but you never know here in the end. West Ham, again, I'm going to pick them to play Crystal Palace as their biggest matchup again because they don't really have that many biggest matchups, and I think they're safe at this point without really having to try. They're just going to kind of stroll into this mid-table space, and they just want to finish above Crystal Palace at this point. Just go one spot higher, take it one match at a time, and finish above Crystal Palace would be what they want. Wolverhampton, another team I believe is going to survive, and they're going to be facing Palace as well. And that's a 6-pointer in the middle of the table. Maybe they can catch Palace as well. 14th playing 12. I think it could be a good matchup. I think it'll be a good game. I think both teams, have recently, Wolves much earlier in the season hired a new manager. Palace obviously reuniting with Roy Hodgson. So we'll just have to see how that matchup goes. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, again, please leave a like down below. Comment what you guys think, what matchups you guys are excited to see here in the last few weeks of the season. And again, comment down below videos you guys would like to see and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Peace.